Hi, this is John Ondo from Marketing Media and Cupcakes. And before we get into today's episode, I just want to say thank you so much for listening. We're back after being gone for over 4.5 years. And I hope you get a chance to listen to episode 77, where we explain why we were gone for so long and that we're back for at least 3 more episodes. Angel and I are big supporters of entrepreneurship, and we love small businesses and faith-based businesses. And we just want to encourage you through our podcast each week. What's going to determine if we continue with more episodes will be the response. Subscribe to us on your platform. Send us an email at john@ondomedia.com. That would help us know you're listening and you want more episodes. So thank you so much, and let's get into today's episode. I had Palm. You remember Palm? You don't remember Palms.
I don't.
The Palms and the Blackberries.
I had a Blackberry.
You had a Blackberry.
Ooh.
I've had this stuff forever. I've got, I had Nokia phones that had messages, and so I have been at this a long time, and I'm ready to get out. I'm really ready.
You need to seek
And
some therapy.
the first step to that is turning off your notifications.
This is the small business podcast that is sweeter than all the rest. Marketing, media, and cupcakes.
Hello, I'm John Ondo, along with my beautiful wife, Angel.
Hi there.
And she is a cupcake queen.
Ooh,
She is
I get the crown today.
Yeah, Angel has a cupcake business called Angel's Custom Cupcake. She also has a multiple decade career in customer service at a big company that she loves working at, and she does a great job. I am a filmmaker, media consultant, and just general annoyance to most people I meet.
Well, you know.
Notice nobody said, "Oh no, John, that's not true."
Oh,
So
no,
that
John, that's not true.
Yeah, you're all lying. So today, Brittany Dixon's with us. She is the host of Process for Profit podcast,
Well done.
which is a great podcast. Brittany, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you? Thanks so much for having me.
We're glad to have you back because you're going to help us. So a good friend of ours who's been on our podcast out in Hollywood, Phil Cook, he's written a lot of articles about email and how email is one of the most evil things in the world. And I remember this was like 2008, 2009. I remember he had a blog article that talked about the blood pressure going up in people when you see, if you have like Apple and you have that little red dot with like 5 emails or 41 emails.
Yes, I still have that. What's your problem?
It is a major problem with me.
I don't like red dots on anything.
I forget how much money a year for a spam killer, because I would wake up on weekends or on any morning overnight and I would get 20 emails.
Yes.
And I already had spam stuff going to certain trash cans, but I would still get 20 emails that were absolutely junk. And the first thing, if I saw in the morning 20 emails, the initial psychological thought is, those are 20 emails telling me that something went wrong. It's my fault. I've got to fix something. That's just how screwed up I am.
Are these your personal emails or your business email?
Well, they are all the same, unfortunately.
For you, they are the same.
Nobody emails me personally. My daughter never talks to me, so
don't even.
She
Let's
doesn't send texts.
We don't have time for
So
that.
so they don't email because that's such a 2000,
Snapchat.
yeah, it's a Snapchat thing. So anyway,
Send you TikTok.
so Brittany, we want you to help us with email because I think a lot of people do this. I have an email. I have a lovely organized email. I have folders for all my clients. I keep all the emails. Now I know Christy Lingo says you should not, but I keep all my emails because I always want to go back in case somebody said I ordered the blue one. I can go back and say, listen, here's the email. I kept it. So I am a little bit of a pack rat with emails. But how do we fix this? Is there a way to fix this? How did you deal with this? Because you and I are a lot alike. So I sense, do you wake up in the morning and look at your phone and see a bunch of emails and freak? Or is it just me?
So my phone notifications for emails are actually turned off.
Good call.
I don't have them on. I actually turned off a lot of my notifications on my phone. I really only have a few things that I get notifications for. So obviously
impressive.
if I click on it, they're still there. They're still there. But just like you said, that red dot, if I see it and has a number, I have to click it and I have to read them.
I don't know if I can change that. And this is the reason. And I could take
because you'll forget to look?
No, it goes back to, this is probably, I'll guess 1985.
Wow.
I became a supervisor at my production department. And my boss, because he wanted to mentor me, got me involved in a lot of at the time, they were like videotape things you had to watch. And they had this story about at AT&T, if no phone rings more than twice, if you're the CEO, you pick up that phone because that's good customer service.
Yes.
And I thought, wow, that's really impressive. So I grew up with the phone never rings. Of course, back then you only had a phone. You didn't have email and all this stuff.
Exactly.
So I transferred that when emails came in and everything else, that if I get an email, if they needed to get me right now, I have to respond back. If they texted me, I've got to respond back. So I know that's screwed up, but that's what started it all for me, 30 years ago, is that I was taught you must respond back. That's good customer service.
It's a beautiful thing.
Brittany has amazing freedom here. She's shut that off. I don't know how she did it.
I did. Yeah. And I mean, in the morning for me, I will check my email and I'll clean it out, but then I shut it off again. So I don't even have it open on my desktop because if you think about it, when you're on your computer doing something and that email pops up, you go and click on it and then you're completely distracted. And then you go down the email rabbit hole. And then 27 minutes later, you come back and you've lost a half hour.
Well,
it happens very quickly.
Phil Cook, talking with creative people, said if you're in the zone, you're working on creative processes, and then you get distracted by an email. He was telling us it was 45 minutes that you are off task.
Yeah.
And that's why nobody gets any work done till noon, because you spend the morning working on those 5 or 6 emails, and then it's noon, and then I come up to see her, and I say, hey, I didn't get anything started yet today.
So here's my question.
Yes.
Here is a stumper for Brittany. So my entire professional daily work, not cupcakes, but daily work is driven by email. That is how people get my attention to do things. Voicemails do not intrigue me because half the time there's not enough information. I've got, and so I am driven similar to John by my email, but it is the task that I'm supposed to be doing for the day, or that is how they reach me to execute something. And so what I find though is that, okay, these are all my tasks. They never stop. They constantly are coming, but there's that one that you get that you could have not opened, but you opened it. Now you're down the rabbit hole. When there's 10 other ones that should have been done first, how do you possibly even know? You know what I'm saying?
Sure. And it is a little bit different in a corporate setting than it is being an entrepreneur, obviously, because corporate is very, very email driven for literally everything. Email and spreadsheets, man. They love them.
Oh, that is what I work on all the time.
They can't get enough of them. If you have to live in email, which it sounds like you do, you have to create some sort of like filtering and prioritizing system.
Okay.
And it's probably going to have to be in a different tool that you can like map those tasks out. So again, I'm going to kind of push project and task management, even on the lowest level of you being able to kind of prioritize those in order. I'm sure you use flags and stars and all the things. But I do think that...
Do you use that? I've never used a flag in my life. Have you used the flag in
your
thing?
I'll be honest, I've never used the flag in any of my things.
Okay.
Yeah,
I guess that's where I struggle.
I know it's there, but the problem is everything is
everything else is there.
Well, no, everything's a red on fire, I have to do it now thing, it seems like. We're stuck with email. How do we, are there systems that I can pull those emails into something else or organize them? You have a great podcast on your Process for Profit podcast about inbox detox. Is that the name of it? And so help us. You can tell right now there's a great deal of stress and anxiety here. So help.
For sure. Email is the biggest thing. I mean, honestly, and this applies in both capacities, but a lot of it is for the entrepreneurs that are kind of on their own. But honestly, the first step is deleting. So deleting things that do not belong. So going through and clearing it out, because the people that have 100 on their red dot, that's even more anxiety inducing than the ones that say 10 and 20.
No.
If there's more than 20 in my inbox, it's bad news.
You would probably need resuscitated, because my boss, God love her, who I'm pretty sure doesn't listen to me on this podcast, could at times, especially if she's been on vacation, have upwards of 600 emails when she
I've seen thousands. I'm
seen
sure.
The
worst.
But it just makes you want to vomit.
I've actually seen someone that had like 50,000 and I told them they have to declare email bankruptcy at that point.
I've heard that before where you just declare I'm surrendering and
you just gotta, you
send an email to everybody and say, if you've sent me something in the past 2 weeks, I'm afraid I'm going to delete it, try again, or...
I mean, if you have client emails coming in there, I would kind of search through those and try to pull those out and keep those, that type of thing. But honestly, everything else has just got to go. At that point, it's going to take you so much longer to go through and clean that up than it would be to just restart.
Because you're an email hoarder at that point.
At that point, you are an email hoarder. Yes. So we got to delete. We've got to clean it out. The second step is discouraging. So trying to get things from not coming in. Again, a lot of this applies to entrepreneurs and people that are on their own, but could work in the corporate space too, is sign up for some kind of, I don't know what they call them, but I use one called Unroll Me, where essentially it unsubscribes you, and I'm putting quotations around that. You can't see, but it unsubscribes you from emails that you no longer need to receive so that they stop cluttering up your inbox, because that's a huge problem.
Being a Mac guy, I have one called, I think it's Mailsieve or Sleeve or something like that. It's It's a British, and it's the one I bought. I forget how much I pay a year, $25 or something, but it is ridiculously scary accurate on pulling spam mails and everything out. There's occasionally a time I find something got spammed that shouldn't have been, but it's extremely rare. And that's what really changed my mornings, because it went from 45 emails overnight to I would open it up and maybe there was one. And it's typically, I know that's my Columbus Business First daily thing that I know is going to be there. I mean, seriously, this stuff really stresses me out when I see 45 emails, because I know something in there is going to be bad.
Yeah, so you got to just discourage it from coming in completely. So that means stop signing up for things unless they're super, super meaningful. And if you signed up for something that was meaningful at the time but is not helpful now, get rid of it, clear it out, stop letting things in, because it's just like they're just going to keep flooding. The third step is the delegation piece. So if it doesn't belong to you or it's not a task you're supposed to be doing, get it out. Just get it out completely, forward it on to whoever's supposed to do that. So it might be another team member, it might be an admin person, whatever that looks like. If it's not something you're supposed to be doing, don't even keep it in there. And then the fourth one is deadline. So this is kind of the one that's a little bit tricky in the online or in the corporate space, is not using your email as a task list. So in the online space and entrepreneur space, it's a little bit easier if you've got project management tools to, if there's an email that requires action, putting that on your task list and filing it instead of leaving it in your inbox unread.
So let me make sure, I'm sorry, let me interrupt you. So let me make sure I understand what you're saying. So I get an email from a client that says we need to paint the house red. I can take that info, put it into a project management, even copy and paste the email, I suppose. And then you're encouraging us then to delete the email, or at least trash it somewhere that it's off your desktop.
So I definitely suggest anything client related keeping, like you said, just in case something happens. But if it's something that is like a task for you to do, but you don't need to reference the email, then yes, just getting rid of it. There are tools that will allow you to send things to your project management tool straight from your email, which is super helpful. But when you are using your email as a task list, that's when you're in there and you start one task and then something else comes in, then something else comes in, and then you can't ever move forward because you're distracted constantly. And then the last step in the 5 Ds is to document. And really, this is the folder structure. So really having a great folder structure, but not too many folders. Less is always more. I essentially have a business and a personal, and then have a few subfolders within that for clients and financial and networking and travel and that kind of thing. But the thing is, you're going to search for that email anyways. So John, I actually heard you say you have a folder for every single client. I don't. I have one folder for clients. Everything just gets dropped in if it's client related.
I keep it fairly organized, every client. So I literally drop in every email that relates to anything they do, because sometimes I get something that I have to go back in time for.
We were talking about earlier, the getting clients out of email. and having some boundaries with that, because actually my clients typically do not email me. If they email me, I'm like, hey,
Brittany told me that like one of the first times we started working together. She's like, I sent her an email. Please don't send me an email. Use the project management thing. So I'm like,
I did. I got to kick him out of my email a couple times. I'm like, oh, I'll answer that in Asana for you.
but I appreciate that because it does work, and I don't have a problem with that because I don't want to see. And unfortunately, we've got to talk about, because every time she does something in Asana, it sends me an email.
Oh,
and then you freak out.
Defeats the purpose, because I one time she had 5 emails and it had nothing to do with me at all.
You were cooking.
But I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? So we got to fix those little things. But I love that concept, because one of the things I try to do, quite honestly, and I hope my clients aren't listening, I try as long as possible never
they are listening.
never to give any client my phone number, my cell phone number, because I start getting texts. And once
you give everybody your number.
Well, inevitably we have to go.
It's boundaries. You got to set boundaries and expectations from the get-go.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had a second phone, because the problem is when you're on location, you got
Google
no
Voice.
choice. You got to give them a
Voice.
cell phone.
Yeah.
Well, don't get me started on Google. That's a whole other issue. But yeah,
we've got a lot of problems over here.
We got a lot of problems. Brittany can't fix all of them, but she's helped me with the email. So
yes.
So run me through your list there real quick.
Yep. So delete, discourage, delegate, deadline, and document. Those are the 5 Ds. So go through that process. And a lot of times, especially if you've got a lot of red dots and you have hundreds and hundreds of emails, it's going to take you a little bit longer to kind of go through that. But get them out of there, completely clean it out, then discourage new stuff from constantly coming in. If it doesn't belong to you, get it to whoever it belongs to. And if it's got a due date, try to use a task tool to keep track of that instead of living in your email, and make sure you have a really good folder structure to file things away so that red emails are not just piling up in the inbox.
I don't like clutter. I don't like clutter on my email. I'm fairly happy with what I have, and I'm trying very hard, but I appreciate for those of you who are listening and you're like, I am struggling to stay on task. I've got these emails, and it's that, what's the word I always use, but it's almost like a firefighter mentality. I have to just constantly fight these fires. And it's like, you're never going to get accomplished what you want to accomplish. You're just getting accomplished what the email dictates. And I
will tell you from experience, when I shut it off in the morning and turn it back on in the afternoon, there's nothing in there ever that is like dire pressing that didn't happen, because you have those forms of communication that if it is something that's dire, that they can communicate in a different way. But honestly, I get so much more done in the day because I shut my email off, and I can tell if it's on, I'm not getting stuff done, because you're constantly watching new stuff just populate.
Yep. Did this help you at all with your?
Yeah, turn off the notifications off your phone.
So if you would like a notification of when the next Marketing Media Cupcakes drops,
yes, please subscribe
to us on Apple,
turn on those notifications,
Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else. And Brittany, before I forget, tell us, you have, I know, because I can remember these things. Digital Detox, I think, is episode 34 on your podcast.
You would know better than I do.
I think it's because it was one of the first ones we helped you put together. So tell us a little bit where we can find you and more. And you've got great information across the board.
Yes, she does.
Tell us a little bit more how we can get a hold of you.
Yeah, so go over to processforprofit.co. We have all kinds of fun stuff over there, free resources, podcasts, downloads, courses, membership sites, webinars, all the things. But essentially, we're just here to help small businesses operate more efficiently so that they can help people do what they do better. But yeah, go check out the podcast. The Inbox Detox actually have a download over on the shop. So if you go to processforprofit.co/shop, it maps out all the steps and gives you some email productivity tips. Shows you how to file email bankruptcy if you need to.
Neat.
Free download over there, and
myself.
all the other things we've got going on.
Brittany, I'm so glad you came and
thank you again
and helped us handhold us through this difficult detox that we've had to go through.
Just know it's not just you. Email is the productivity killer of the world.
Yes,
it is not one of my favorite things.
No, it's a love-hate.
But
boy, am I sad when I have none.
I'm not. Oh, that's a good day.
No,
I'm referring to my work.
I love when there's 0. I'm like, all right.
When there's 0, then I'm sitting there going, now what am I supposed to do? I'm different.
What you're supposed to do, probably.
I don't know what that is.
That's the difference. Entrepreneurs versus corporate. We always have things to do.
I'll send you an email on what you can do.
We'll invent new things to do.
I love it.
Great. Well, wherever you're at, if you want more information, ondomedia.com is my company. We do media consulting, and if you got anything you need done in media, we will help you with it. Angel's Custom Cupcakes. If you want to see the beautiful bakery items that she makes with cupcakes and so forth, and if you're Central Ohio, you can order some.
Yes.
And then, until then, I hope you get a cleared out email box and keep living the dream.
Connect with John and Angel via Facebook and Instagram and let us know your thoughts. Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes is a production of Ondo Media.